I knew George by reputation from his service in World War II when he served in the Montford Marines with great credibility, and that was the group that did such a wonderful job helping to bring freedom to the rest of the world in defeating the Japanese and the Germans in World War II. I watched as George led the activities of education in Pass Christian, and he was a stalwart leader, and it was during the time that we were going through integration of the schools.
The powers that be had fought all kind of ways to stop integration, but we decided in Pass Christian that we were going to, and I was part of it, we were going to totally integrate the school. And so we did. When we totally integrated the school, it went about peacefully, and some parts of the nation couldn't believe this. And we had photographers and reporters come from New York with organizations to come walk the halls of high school to see, how did you do it?
And if you ask him about it, he will tell you he didn't do anything, that other people did. And it's true that he had a great team of people, but he was the inspired leader that gave his team the opportunity to pursue excellence.
He doesn't want all this recognition, but when you're a man that walks as tall as my dad and that excels in every single thing he touches, you can't help but recognize that.
He's personally been an achiever, whether it was making great grades at Alcorn or in California or in Miami when he was adding to his education. But with all of that great education, George came home to make the Gulf Coast a better place.
Back during the time of tumultuous times of integration, they wouldn't allow black people to vote. They wouldn't allow them to register to vote. And so when we came out of the Marine Corps military and came back home, and they had an election soon thereafter. And over in Pass Christian, there was a fellow was riding around, there ain't no voting in this election. And we went up there and voted. I voted. That was a major incident down here on the coast because then we always put in a mayor who had feelings for the community, total community.
His service to the state of Mississippi and to the coast has been without equal. Governor Winter, who I think is maybe one of the best governors we've ever had, saw the wisdom of putting George on the college board, IHL. Then Governor Mavis put him in as a public service commissioner.
When I got to the Capitol, there was a press was there, and all the television cameras, and everybody was there. And the governor came out late, and he said, I apologize. He said, some of my backers told me that if I appointed you, I'd never win another election in Mississippi. And he said, I told them, they don't control me. I'm going to. I said, Governor, I don't need this. He said, I need you. And he appointed me.
And in that capacity, George was responsible for regulating electricity for every home, every business, every industry in the entire state of Mississippi. A real credit to his leadership and the way he quietly went about getting the job done.
I never needed a mentor. You know, when you ask people, who do you admire? Who do you want to be like? My dad. Because my mentor lives right in my home, and I grew up with him. So that's the man that I aspire to be like. I'll never, ever be able to fill his shoes. But me and Phyllis, and the grandchildren, we adore him so.
Again, what he and Evelyn did with their children, with Kathy, with Phyllis, with their grandchildren, has been a standout for us in this community. Always peaceful, always smiling, always leading. If you look at George and you hear other people talk, they'll probably tell you that from a characteristic standpoint, you could say he's dedicated, he's honest, he's hardworking, he's loyal, he's committed. But I have another word for George. The word that I have for George Watson is integrity. I think that best describes the man, because George Watson has spent his life not only doing the job right, he's always done the right job.